Hi, welcome. Today we are going to have a discussion on the next topic. The topic that we have today is about the discuss both sides and give your opinion. So, first of all, as a student or as a candidate for the IELTS exam, I would suggest that you should be looking at the prompt statement first. What is the prompt statement? Discuss both views and give your opinion. So, in this type of essay, the student always has to plan for three paragraphs. First body paragraph for the discussion of first view, second paragraph for the discussion of second view, and third, a smaller paragraph for your own views discussion. Now, after planning the paragraphs, we must be thinking about the topic. The topic is some people think that cultural traditions may be destroyed when they are used as money making attractions aimed at tourists. Others believe it is the only way to save these traditions. So, what they're talking about that if a society has some kind of old traditions, then they might use them to show them to the tourists so that they can earn some money in the form of entry tickets to those shows from the tourists. Some people find it a good idea, other people think that it is bad. So, you have been given the task to discuss both the aspects, good and bad, of this trend, and also you need to tell your own opinion whether these things should be done or not. So, for each paragraph, you do not require multiple ideas, you just need one idea per paragraph. Let us see what we can write in the first paragraph. In the first paragraph, we choose to discuss the view 1, which says that it is wrong to use these traditions as money making attractions because they say that these could be destroyed. So, what could be the reason? The reason is that fusion to attract more tourists leads to distortion of original form of traditions, because when they want to project them in front of the tourists, they want that more and more tourists should come to those shows or to those places where they are going to show those traditions, right? So in order to attract more and more tourists, they don't perform the original tradition in front of them. They try some hybrid forms of the traditions. For example, when they show the tradition of Punjabi folk dances in front of British tourists, they just fuse the music and show the or make them listen to the Indo-Western music rather than the pure classical Punjabi music. So that fusion actually would distort the original form of those traditions, and the tourists might understand that this distorted form is actually the old tradition and they might start accepting it as their tradition. So that's wrong because that does not actually put forward or represent the actual essence of the culture or of the tradition. Rather, they put or they just represent or pass down a different version of the same tradition because they just want to mix all the cultures so as to interest all kinds of tourists. So some people say that it is wrong because in this way the culture will be destroyed. But for the second paragraph, other people, what do they say? They say that it is the only way to save these traditions. So, what could be their reason? They think that commercialization may lead to wider cultural representation. It means that if you commercialize these traditions, commercialize means involving the money into it. So, if this is commercialized, so there would be more and more people who would want to become the organizers of such cultural events, who would want to become the representatives of such cultural events. They might want to become the folk dancers, folk singers, or some of the people might want to cook the traditional food in front of the tourists. So more participation will be seen, and if there is more participation and representation, more and more cultural exchange can be seen over there. So they think that this is the only way to ensure the survival of any tradition. If there are tourists who are willing to pay money and they are going to see those traditions, then only they would gain the information about those traditions and they would spread it all around the world. However, in the third paragraph, you have to represent your own opinion, which you may say that there's nothing wrong in commercialization, no harm in commercialization, but originality must be kept intact. You want to give an advice that it's okay if some of the people want to earn money by making the tourist pay in order to watch those traditions or in order to take part in those traditions. There's no harm in making money out of this, but they should not be distorting the originality. The originality must be kept intact. For example, if they want to represent the Punjabi folk dance in front of the British tourists, they should represent the actual folk music and actual folk songs and with ethnic wear. Not They should not be representing the fusion or the hybrid or the modernized versions of the Punjabi culture. In this way they will be helping in survival of the culture. I hope that you understand. And for the paragraph, you just need to remember for discuss both views that you just need one idea per paragraph and you need to explain them and provide an example in each paragraph. For the body para number 3, you don't need to add any example because if you read the prompt properly or carefully, they have just asked you to give your opinion. So no discussion is required. You may just write a 2 or 3 sentence discussion without any example. So that would be a perfect essay for that. Some students ask me whether they need to elaborate in much detail. No, you might just elaborate your ideas up to 3 or 4 sentences. That would be enough. Even 2 sentences would be enough if the idea can be fully developed in those 2 sentences. Thank you. See you in the next class.